فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي.
If you've been into a mosque or an Islamic bookshop in the English-speaking world, you've likely come across this translation of the Quran. Sahih International is one of the world's most well-known English translations, but unlike the book itself, its translators remained virtually unknown. The year was 1989, and what began as a simple favour for a friend developed into the translation and editing team of Sahih International, comprised of 3 American women who worked on this widely read translation. Born in Minnesota, Amatullah J. Bantley grew up in a Catholic home, but identified as an atheist by age 16. At 20, she embraced Islam. A year later, she moved to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, where she would cross paths with 2 other female converts. Mary M. Kennedy grew up in Florida, and at the age of 20 converted to Islam through the guidance of her husband and compelling Islamic literature. Muhammad, a convert from California, embraced Islam while studying Arabic in Damascus in the 1970s. All 3 women were living in Jeddah and met each other in the 1980s. But it was a favour asked of Amatullah in 1989 that would almost a decade later lead to these 3 American converts publishing the first ever English translation of the Quran translated by women. Bantley had been asked by a widowed friend to drop off her late husband's manuscript, a book about the soul that he had translated from Arabic into English, to the Islamic publishing house and bookstore Dar al-Qasim. Bantley asked if she could read it before handing it over and returned with quite a few language suggestions. With Kennedy and Muhammad's help, they cleaned up and reorganized the text and prepared it for printing. The publisher liked the improvements, and Sahih International was born. The 3 American women continued to edit other authors' works and then later started writing their own titles. Throughout their careers, the team wrote or edited over 80 titles in English. Eventually, people began to suggest that they tackle another project. Bantley, who had studied Islamic classes from Muhammad, was impressed with how precisely she translated meanings of the Quran. Bantley told the owner of Dar al-Qasim about Muhammad's gift, and they spent years encouraging her to take on the project, but she continuously refused. When he began to suggest a better and easier translation of the Quran's meanings than those available, I firmly refused. I was not qualified. There was no way I would even consider it. In her humility, she did not feel qualified, but Muhammad eventually made istikhara and decided to take on the momentous task. She worked with Bantley, Kennedy, and an Arabic proofreader day and night for several years, and almost a decade after a simple favour brought them together, the first edition was published.
أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية